Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be changing the battery in a Ram ProMaster City. This is a 2021. Now if you've tried to do this or tried to look it up yourself, you'll find the batteries are hard to cross over. So the OEM battery on this one is a 521-02538. If you try to Google that, pull it up, research it, do anything with it, you come up with a couple different numbers, but for the most part nobody knows what battery to put in here. There's not a group size, there's not anything like that that normally you pick batteries from. So I bit the bullet and went to the Dodge dealership. This is what the Dodge dealership's selling you. So this one, if I can get the glare off of it, is a BBH6A001AA. The group size is an H6 and it's an AGM battery. Now this is different than the battery that's in there, which is a EFB battery. Now according to the parts dealer, or the parts salesperson, which I don't know how much he knew, there's nothing to do in the computer to change this for the alternator to change the way the system charges. I'll find out when I put it in and let you know. So the first thing we want to do is remove this cover here. Push these two tabs, lift up on the front, and then just pull up on the back, and that should come off. But be careful while you have this off. All those are hot. If you drop something metal to it, you could ground it out and cause a short. Now as you can see, I'm wiggling here. Those two little screws in that red tab are keeping this terminal kind of in place. The only thing that holds it on is the battery terminal itself. So if you loosen the battery terminal and try to pull up, it's not going to come off because those two little screws in that red tab are keeping it from turning. But you do not have to unbolt any of the wires off of the top of this unit, only the terminal. Now be careful when you're doing this. The firewall is exposed there. If you lift that wrench up too far, or your socket, ratchet, whatever you're using, you can ground it out to the frame there, so be careful not to short it out. Again, once you loosen that up, we're going to take these two screws out here. Once we get the two screws out, this whole unit will lift up off of there. And don't lose the red insert that goes back in there. Again, that just helps align it and keep it in place on the battery. Once you get that loose, just lift it up off here and tilt it back to where it's out of your way, so you can get the battery up out of here after we get the other cable off and the hold down off. Next step is to disconnect the negative terminal. Just loosen the bolt here, and if your battery is dirty or nasty, make sure you clean up any connections, any corrosion or anything like that before you assemble this. Mine's in pretty good shape. I take fairly good care of the engine bay, so I don't have really anything to clean up when I'm doing this. Now, like on most batteries, this hold down bolt is down in the side here. It's way down on the side there. Your best option is a long socket and extension. Make sure you don't drop the nut down in there. If you have a little magnetic pickup tool or some other tool, once you get the nut loose, you can stick it down in there and pick it up off of there. Again, try not to drop the nut down in through there. If you do, make sure you find it, or make sure it doesn't go any place where it's going to get caught in something. And again, you can see it's loose now, and just take a little magnetic tool, stick it down in there, touch the nut, pull it right up out of there. Now it's easier with two people, one to hold this wire out of place while you lift the battery up. This is an extremely heavy battery for as small of a vehicle as it is. You don't really need two people. One person can do it, but as you can see, we pulled the battery up out of there and pulled up the insulator around it. Now some people put the insulator back in, some people don't. I'll put it back in after I put the battery in. I'm just checking to make sure the batteries match up, making sure the positive terminal is on the correct side, negative terminal is on the correct size, and the size and the shape of the battery are the same. Again, just clean up anything that may be in the way, a little bit of dust in mine, that's about it. If your tray is dirty, clean the tray up. I'm going to drop the battery back in first, and again, like I said, I'm going to put the sleeve on afterwards. I have more tendency to tear the sleeves when I'm trying to put them down in there on the battery than just putting the battery in and putting the sleeve back around it. Whichever way works for you. Do it the way you will feel more comfortable with. So the next thing is to put the strap back over top of the battery, line it up with the bolt down below, drop it through there. You don't need a lot sticking out, but you need enough to at least get one or two threads started on your nut when you put it on there. I'm not going to connect the terminal yet. I'm just going to get the strap on now. Again, same thing as before. If you've got a magnetic pickup tool or something, you can put it on the socket, hold it in place like that, drop it down in there, line it up on the bolt, and then take your socket, put it on top, and tighten it up. That's probably the fastest, easiest way to do that. So once we get our battery strapped in, we're going to put our positive terminal back on. Again, make sure you line up the two little tabs for the little red insert that goes in there. We're going to snug up the bolt. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I'm just going to tighten it up to the point where it doesn't move easily. We're going to drop our red tab back down in there, finish tightening the bolt, and then putting the two screws back in to hold the battery terminal in place. After we get that done, we're going to go ahead and tighten up the negative cable. If it doesn't fit down there all the way, make sure you loosen it up a little bit more and push down so it goes down all the way on the terminal. Tighten it back up. I'm going to take our red cover here, make sure we line it up properly, push straight down on it. You should hear it click into place. It should cover those tabs up, or all those terminals up, to keep you from grounding anything out to it. Make sure everything's tight. Check the battery, make sure it's tight. And lastly, crank it up. Starts right up. I've got no engine codes on, nothing like that. I'll let you know in a few days whether it holds the charge or not. Again, just switching from a one type of battery to the other should not affect the engine at all, but if it does, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Please click on like and subscribe. Hope this helped you out.